life stories into your lives, because out of that story, there's something you can pick and grow about it. But now it's very, very hard for us to do stories of significance if we don't know each other. Remember, grandma used to know everybody in the house, isn't it? So, assuming that today I'm grandma, why can't we get to know everybody in the house?
Look at things with a different eye. Have a different perception today, and then have a greater expectation. If possible, remove all the expectations. Avoid the perception and just be a student of life.
My name is Silvester Kututa. Born, I think I'm the oldest. Thank you for keeping on saying the people who have not gone through the 844 system. I am one of them. Okay, born in 1966. Lived in rural Kwale. That's where I grew up. You know, Kwale has been, until more recently, the poorest district before we turned out to be county. And therefore, that also is a reflection of the life we lived. Not exactly that we were poor. My father worked for the Port Authority as a clerk, where he did a fantastic job until retirement. We had a very disciplinarian mum. Thank you. About children, remember? Raising children. We grew up 10 of us in the family. One mother, one father. 10 of us. So to manage that, you must be military style, eh? So we were very disciplined. That helped us, and of course, that discipline and being able to be mentored, and you have to go to church, you have to go to school, you can't miss. Standard 3, my mom was called to school by the teacher. He was told that this guy, hakuna kitu inaingia hapa. So what happens? I was called, I was sat down. Thank God my mom had the time, and I listened, and I tried to see where can I improve. For whatever reason, the cutoff that year was 26 points. The highest you could get was 6 A's, which was 36 points. I got 26, which is a cutoff. Just make it a little bit. Don't give them more. Okay? More means very hard work. My mom would come and check, is this guy still studying? That's around 9ish, because she wants me to study. And then she will find, nimezima, nimepunguza, just to make sure that when she sees the light, but she will think that I'm studying. Then I would hear her calling and tell me, hey, ujue unashindana na Kenya yote. Now that thing, until today, is in my mind. It tortures me. But it's never gotten out of my mind. Because while everybody else who's going to secondary school would take a bus and go towards Mombasa, for me, I will take a bus or a matatu and go towards the border. Now inside hinterland, now Ukondani. Now that was, and you would listen to the stories. The people who come and tell you when the students who are in Shimolatewa, Hamis, etc., they come home and you hear them talking about half terms, about their teachers, about being served bread in the morning. I know where I am going. I have to go and rent a room and cook for myself. And life will be different. So what do you tell me when I come back from school during the holidays and half term? What will be my story amongst my friends who are coming from Shimolatewa and Hamisi? Huh? Again, I managed just to squeeze in at the last point, more or less. The lower points, but just enough to jump in. I jumped in. I went back to do economics. There was no religion that time, but we convinced the teacher to add CRE. And then geography. I love geography. I love geography. And somehow, I don't know why during those 2 years, I grasped and loved economics. I found something that I can be passionate about. And when I found it, I went for it. They tried to introduce accounting. I did it because it was a minor. So I had somebody say minor. Yes, thank you. Minor, something that I didn't like. I'll tell you some of these things you don't like in life, they've got a purpose. Today, the accounting that I learned then, I didn't like it. I hated it. I didn't pass very well. But that accounting is very, very good for me today. I moved on, and incidentally, my second job was as an accountant, something I didn't like. But of course, finished, because my father was working in the port. That's where my livelihood used to come from. Therefore, I would start from the door, the gate of the port. I start walking with my certificates. I gonga mlango. I go into the office, any office. I say, my name is Silvester Kututa. I've just finished my university education with economics. I have to make sure that I mention economics. Finishing the economics. And I think I'm looking for a job, and I think I can do a very good job. They say, no, we don't have a job, but you can leave your application. I leave it. I move on, the next office. So I move in, start in Jubilee Insurance. Because I want a job, the boss asked me, now you've done the interview, you passed, how much salary do you want? I checked and I realized mine the second lower, number one. Let's start from there. Number two, I have classmates who are still out there in the job market, who may have applied for this. And if I overprice myself, I am finished. So he may change his mind. So he told me, how much do you want? I thought I know people are employed roughly in the banks at about 7,000 that time from university. I told him 4,000. He looked at me, told me, okay. There was a template, he told me, write it there. And I wrote it myself. He didn't want to write it. And then, anyway, I was there for a couple of months, then moved to freight forwarding. And interesting enough, in freight forwarding, somehow you brush shoulders with shipping companies, Span Freight, those who are the big companies, Ocean Freight, Mitchell Coates. And you look at the people who are working in those organizations, they look happier, they look more well-dressed. You connect that with your dad, you know, it's as if we are genetic shipping people. Huh? My dad works in the port, and somehow you're seeing ships all around. I decided to do shipping exams. I have no idea where that came from. I looked at the syllabus. I love shipping. I said, I think I'm liking what I'm seeing about shipping. And the ships, you see them around ferry. I saw there is a subject on economics of sea transport. I looked at that economics and I ran with it. I said, I must go with this. Okay? I did the exams in 1992, and I will never forget. You know those tears of joy, you can't believe it. Huh? I was, in one of the papers, I was the best performer in the whole world. From an average Kwale guy. You know, I couldn't afford the money to go to London to pick my award, but everybody was expected to do that. So I didn't go, and I applied. I saw some jobs in Kenya National Shipping Line. That time was being built and becoming a very big brand, being run by the German management. I applied for the job, and I got the job. Now, there are a lot of things that I can say about that stint, because all these things build up towards ESL. Kenya National went very well, but at some point I said this is not my destiny. This is not where I am supposed to go. This is not where I'm supposed to settle. I need to move on. So I applied for my master's degree, which the German government, nothing to do with the management that was German, but the German embassy in Nairobi. I applied and they gave me a scholarship and the university in Sweden gave me a scholarship, and I moved on to study in Sweden and come back. Now, here is where the story of ESL begins. You've been out there, you've studied, you've been in East Africa, in Kenya, you've seen the setup of the shipping industry. I had 3 jobs, one in the UK, one in Dubai, and whether I should come back. And, I am married. I have 3 children. I should have said that from the beginning. Okay, I should have said that from the beginning. But somehow, even with those offers of good jobs and good countries and good cities and the glamour of life, somehow I felt the importance of coming back, and mostly because to do an exceptional work, an exceptional job, to run an exceptional business, but not for purposes of business, but for purposes of creating employment in our countries where there is lack of employment. And when you do a very good job, there is always employment you can create. And from there, we started ESL, 2001. It was a time when everybody was talking, the industry was collapsing. Cannon Tower, I came in. I had left to go to Sweden. Cannon Tower was getting full. When I came back, it was like a ghost. But yet we were to start an office, and we chose Cannon Tower to start from there. On the 7th floor, very small office, and we started building. We wouldn't do something that is normal. We would do something extraordinary. So we started off, we said we will do a distinctive job, distinctive from distinction. If you want the best solutions, you will get it from us. And the commitment being to our customers. From that time, then we grew. And when you have a right service, you will probably struggle at some point, of course, in the beginning. But once you pick up, it goes sustainably well. One of the things that I'm passionate about, if my customer is not happy, then I am not happy. If they are not sleeping well because of a problem, their shipment, then I can't be sleeping. I'll wake up, I'll go down to the port, I'll try and sort out that problem.